Um, Perhaps it's good before doing the actual empowerment for me to discuss and kind of lay the foundation of what we are doing with tantric practice and how and what is the meaning of empowerment in tantric practice. So, well, first of all, we are talking about Buddhist Tantra here, and all Buddhism, whether Tantric practice or whether Sutric practice, Sutra practice, all practices are based on the so-called view of emptiness. You hear the word emptiness and selflessness a lot in Buddhism, and even though the word emptiness kind of associates in a bit strange way for us Westerners, you could translate it as zeroness or neutralness. Neutralness is actually very good for that. So what it means is that the reason why, and I'm sure I can speak everyone here present, that we are confused about our existence, and that's why we find our way to teachings that help us to understand ourselves better and deeper and deeper and deeper. So this is the reason why, of course, it's perfectly fine if somebody wants to start some yogic practice, meditative practice, just to, let's say, better one's sleep or even better one's health, relieve stress, to perhaps better one's focus and concentration. That is all perfectly fine. But to be clear, the meaning of Dharma, the real meaning of yogic practices, is to understand ourselves. And what that means is that, we have this, well, I can at least speak on my own experience, that we have this nagging feeling when we grow up and live our lives that something is not quite right. There is some unsatisfaction going on. Something is not right. Even though you have money in the pocket and you are in a good relationship and you might have a good job or a good place to study, but something isn't right. As if you feel that there must be more or something else to life than all these external circumstances. And yeah, so that is what at the moment it is said that the Buddhist tradition was founded by a yogi called Shakyamuni Buddha. So he gave his first teaching on what is usually translated as suffering. I use a translation of existential confusion. So his first teaching was about this suffering or existential confusion that is caused by our sense of I-ness, me-ness, or selfing. It happens in our mind. What that suffering means is that what happens in our mind is that we have this sense of me-ness, I-ness, that categorizes all kinds of things, even insignificant things, into likes and dislikes. So this puts our mind into this loop, pretty much non-stopping loop of likes and dislikes, how do you say, preferals and something that we don't prefer. So that's what suffering is. That's what ignorance is. That's what existential confusion is. And so in Pemako we do have also sutra teachings, although I very rarely teach those, because I think that tantric practices work much more efficiently and faster. So what we mostly practice is tantra, and rainbow body yoga is our main tantric practice. And we have, that's the main practice. It really consists, it includes a lot. So there's a lot to, unravel in that practice. And I'll return to that in a moment. But that's the main practice. And then we have a couple of other, supplementary, supportive practices that we also do. Namely, Tantric Guru Yoga, when meditating the presence of Guru Padmasambhava, Guru Rinpoche, and Yeshe Tsogyal, and might be other masters also. So Rainbow Body Yoga, Tantric Guru Yoga, those two are our main tantric practices. And then of course there is the, practicing of Tantra means that you do some types of exercises. Usually there is visualizations, then there is mudras, hand gestures done with hands, some mudra gestures, visualizations, mudras, breathing practices, and mantras, of course. So these four are what tantric practices, tantric techniques can be all these four elements combined, or perhaps just two elements combined. But the most important element in tantra is mantras, these sacred sounds, perhaps you could say. So that's what tantric practices, tantric techniques are. And rainbow body yoga, it's a formula. It's a sequence of different tantric techniques, one after the other. And these practices are not complex, not at all complex, although it takes perhaps a couple of weeks to learn the full sequence, but they are not complex. So, if you have tried some visualization practices in some other tantric method, you might have tried like visualizing some deity in the middle and then many other deities around, and then there are different kinds of flowers and different kinds of sacred symbols and all that. So there's a lot of details, but we don't have such complex visualizations. Our visualizations are always very simple. So it's easy to learn and easy to practice, easy to apply. And that's really something that I've given a lot of emphasis when formulating our method, because our method is all about bringing Tantric Buddhism to 21st century Westerners, city people, modern people. So doing complex practices and following methods that have too many things, many things at the same time, or a long succession of different kinds of stages, I don't think it's that good of a fit for us modern city people. So that's why our practices are easy to learn, easy to apply, and also very effective, like you will see. So those are the tantric practices. And then there is the meditation part, and the type of meditation that we do is the so-called non-meditation, or can also be used this Sanskrit term called Atyog. Atyog. Ati means pristine, or pristine, original, something like that. Yoga of pristine awareness. That's a good translation. Or you might as well use the word non-meditation. And what it means is that we recognize our own Buddha nature. We recognize ourselves as this fresh, clear, pure, utterly alive, and perfectly grounded being. That's what really solves those existential problems. So, if I give a practical comparison, in our everyday lives, what commonly happens is that we have thoughts going on, and then we might have, we associate from one thought to another, to another, to another, and then we have emotional reactions, and then we remember something, and then we have other emotional reaction. So it's like an ongoing washing machine of these samsaric self-based thinking and self-based emotions. So what happens with Atyog practice is that within every one of us, within all sentient beings, this is how Mahayana Buddhism teaches, is that within all sentient beings there is the so-called Buddha nature, wakeful, fresh, pure, clear-minded nature. Not all beings can recognize it, like not cats and dogs, they can't exercise it, though they don't probably have no existential problems either. But as human beings, we can recognize both that we have existential issues, and we can recognize this Buddha nature of ours, perfectly wakeful nature of ours, which is, if I use like an analogy, often used analogy, is that, if we have volcanoes spitting hot red lava, 1,000 degrees hot, but if you have an ocean and that red lava flows into the ocean, it will cool off and die down. This is exactly what happens when we recognize this pure, fresh, wakeful nature of ours, and then let those confusions, anxiety, jealousy, stress, anger, fear, hatred, all of those negative emotions, they die down into that basic nature. So the reason why that's Atyog, recognizing this basic nature and recognizing it again and again and again. And this is a very significant experience. You will see it yourself when you start practicing that, oh yes, we have some unique features in Rainbow Body Yoga, and one of those is the so-called dynamic concentration, where mantric syllables are shouted out loud, like vocally shouted, not in a crazy or angry fashion, but with sharp focus, shouting syllables. And the reason why we do that is that it's a very effective way to, this is related to, in Pemako we talk about these bhumis, or grounds, or stages. And we talk about bhumi openings and bhumi perfections. So, you probably have heard about the energy body, the subtle body of human being. We have the physical body, then we have the subtle body, energy body, which consists of energy channels and energy centers, nadis and chakras. And then we have, expressed in a very simple way, we have this basic awareness, cognizant awareness. So these three bodies are the three basic bodies we have. And what was I saying? Yes, so in our subtle body, we have the energy system inside our physical body, and we have other part of the subtle body in our aura, around our physical body. So we have those three bodies: physical, energetic, and body of awareness. So our problems, existential problems, are in the second body: thoughts, emotions, subtle energy. And this third body, body of awareness, body of cognizant awareness, body of selfless awareness, is the way to dissolve confusion from the second body. All the selfing, I-ness, me-ness, all habits and patterns, negative emotions are in the second one. So the reason why we shout, use strong dynamic concentration, is that it has the power to cut through, no matter how anxious or depressed or angry or fearful we are. This dynamic concentration makes a hole into the aura. It's sort of like if I take an analogy that we are surrounded by smoke. There's smoke in the air around us. This analogy works if we think that we can make smoke disappear. But let's assume that. So let's imagine that we are our mind is filled by the smoke of anxiety or depression, for example. So it's like being surrounded by the smoke that makes you feel small, contracted, makes you feel, you feel very unsatisfactory. You don't feel good at all. You don't feel natural at all. But then you do a few shouts. You cut through it. For example, I'll shortly demonstrate. Hung, pe, 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 pe. And completely relax. So the reason why we do this, use strong voice, is because it literally makes a hole into the subtle body, and this hole enables us to recognize the third body, body of awareness, Buddha nature. So that's the genius of dynamic concentration, and it is practiced a little bit in Tibetan Vajrayana. It is also practiced a little bit by small groups in Japanese Shinto. I lived in Japan back in the day. But as far as I know, really nobody uses this practice systematically to make those holes into our mind so that our basic nature, Buddha nature, can be recognized. So you might have also, if you have followed Pemako groups in Facebook, or if you have read my books, especially the second one, What's Next, you are already familiar that, we talk about these Bhumi openings and Bhumi perfections and awakening experiences. So what awakening experience means, regardless of tradition, or even if somebody comes to awakening spontaneously, what happens there is that this Buddha nature of ours is recognized, and this recognition makes an irreversible effect, irreversible shift in our subtle body. In that very same body where those self-based, I-based, me-based habits and patterns are stored. So the reason why we do dynamic concentration is to have the recognition of Buddha nature on daily basis. Not only on one retreat a year or 2 retreats a year, not only every now and then, but every day we do this. And that's what makes it very effective, because it is very common. Maybe about half of our 70 numbered Sangha at the moment, half of them have already had 13 major breakthroughs, 13 major awakening experiences. And this itself is very rare. So there's a lot more I could say about boomies and like the technical side of our method, but you will see this yourself. So we have the so-called two-part formula to generate the very first awakening experience, and then we have rainbow body yoga for further consecutive breakthroughs. So if you haven't yet had the first awakening experiences, go to the website and read Awake book. It's there for free. So it talks about this two-part formula that is it's a simple condensed practice that generates this first awakening experience. Nevertheless, it is fine. Sometimes people ask that, well, can I start rainbow body yoga if I haven't awakened yet? Yes, you can. Of course, no problem with that. But probably awakening can happen through rainbow body yoga practice, but in most cases of our Sangha members, they first do the processing with two-part formula. Okay, so in Tantra, regardless of tradition, what is really universal are empowerments. And empowerment means that a lineage holder, in this case myself, first of all tantric methods and lineages are founded by somebody who is fully enlightened, somebody who is so-called Mahasiddha, greatly attained or greatly perfected master. And in the case of Pemako, that is Guru Rinpoche, Guru Padmasambhava. And he's a very well-known figure from Tibetan Buddhism. He was really the main, one of the main masters who brought tantric teachings from India to Tibet. There were others, but Guru Padmasambhava, has really become, let's say, the most important, most revered master in that regard. So we have Guru Padmasambhava, who is my teacher, and then we also do Guru Yoga with Guru Padmasambhava's his spouse, Yeshe Tsogyal, Lady Yeshe Tsogyal. And so I'm transmitting these empowerments, how should I say, as a teacher, passing the teachings that I have received from them to my students. And this is a universal, giving empowerments is a universal feature in all tantric methods. And what it means is that, empowerments can be different types. And in Rainbow Body Yoga, we are talking about mantric empowerment. And in this, the basic mantra in Rainbow Body Yoga has 2 syllables. I will write it to the chat window. A-bam, those 2 syllables. And these 2 syllables in turn, they include, I'll find you a website link for this. They include a list of a dozen tantric deities. So just a moment. There is the link to the website regarding deities and empowerments in deities and empowerments of Rainbow Body Yoga. So if you open that page and scroll down a bit, you can see first empowerment, 2-syllable mantra. And there you first have listed Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal. This empowerment includes empowerment for their Guru Yoga. And after that there is 1 through 12 these tantric deities. Some of them are, most of them are, you know, you might have heard the names, are known deities, while some not. So at this point, it is sufficient that you understand that these two simple syllables, A and Vam, they contain all these 12 deities. And what it means is that what the deities are in the first place. Well, deities are not spirits, deities are not gods, and deities are not outside of ourselves. So deities are, usually we have those negative energies in our body mind happening, all that confusion. And what deities are, that they are archetypes of our enlightened mind. In other words, if in confused samsaric mind we have anger and anxiety, the enlightened form of that is Dorje Drolo and Vajrayogini. So what these deities are, that they are tantric representations of our enlightened mind. I don't really have a picture list here, but if you want, you can, after our session, you can Google some of those deities and you find some images of them, and some of them look really peaceful and serene, while others look really wrathful and fierce. And well, there we have the two main categories of deities, peaceful and wrathful. In Rainbow Body Yoga we have also additional empowerments. If you scroll down that same page, you have second and third empowerments, and I only give these to ordained Sangha members. Ordained means wearing this robe. So there's just many other more wrathful deities to be used in Rainbow Body Yoga. But yeah, this is kind of list of the 12 deities. You don't have to memorize it, and I'll just say that at some point, perhaps 1 or 2 years from now, it will you might develop an interest about these deities and start studying them one by one. So yeah, what happens in empowerment is that a representative of a lineage, representative of a method, such as myself, I practice those 2 syllables, meaning those 12 deities, and kind of pass you that energy. It's kind of like if you have a lit candle and unlit candle. So I'm passing that light to you, and then you have the light. So after the empowerment, when you practice Avam syllables and do the particular mudras, do the techniques with Avam syllables, then you will again and again light your own candle. That's how tantric methods work. That's why empowerments are given. I started my meditative practice with Zen Buddhism, which is sutra type Buddhism. And because empowerments do not exist in sutra teachings, you generate all that insight and energy on your own. But I can say from my own experience that it didn't suit me at all, and it's much more, it requires much more from the practitioner. And this is the reason why I started tantric practice and then later became a teacher of tantric practice. What else? Maybe something about this online course. So we have this empowerment session this evening. It will take maybe 45 minutes when we start the empowerment. And after that, I will share you the link already. I can actually share it right now so that I don't forget it. So then you can, like I mentioned, there is the Dropbox link. You can open it and you can save that link. Keep it saved. So if you open it, you can find the main folder with many files. So these are recorded videos. And when you start from number 1, sitting down and go through them, next one is Guru's Blessing, third one Rainbow Jewel, fourth Connecting Bhumi Pillars. You know, these recordings teach you these techniques, practices one by one. And as you go through them, you will little by little learn the Rainbow Body Yoga sequence. And in the bottom of the page, number 12 and 13, you can also find the Rainbow Body Yoga guided practice, 2 different full sequences. So it's like it takes a week or 2 to go through those materials. But that's how you learn Rainbow Body Yoga. At the very bottom of the folder, you can also find Rainbow Body Yoga Manual, which is the same practices explained in written format. Then if we look at the other folders in that main folder, the one on the top is Guru Yoga and Deity Yoga teachings. Actually, this folder is waiting to be updated. There's only 2 recordings and 1 text at the moment, but so you can see Dechen Gyalmo and Kunzang Gyalpo empowerments and instructions. So if you are interested in the deity list that we just watched, Dechen Gyalmo and Kunzang Gyalpo are on top of the list. So these deities are included in this empowerment. So if you're interested, you can check those videos soon if you like. But these are not, at this point of your learning, they are not central to your learning. Then if you go back to the main folder and open the second folder, Masterclass of Tantra. There you can find 21 video recordings that, like I said, Rainbow Body Yoga is a really condensed formula of practice. And in these masterclasses, you know, as the name suggests, these are not for beginning stage. So it is good for you to practice the basic version of Rainbow Body Yoga explained in those recordings in the main folder for, let's say, 1, 2, even 3 years before going to these masterclasses. So what these masterclasses are about is that, you know, in these recordings I have really explained inside out what these techniques and the principles that the techniques come out of are. So it's all kind of taken down into nuts and bolts and then put back together. But again, having said that, you know, especially if you have done practice before, and I think some of you have, if you are already familiar with Tantric Yoga from before, from other systems, sure, you can watch these masterclasses after you learn that basic version. So, you know, all these materials are openly available to all of you, just waiting for you to make use of them. Then if you go back to that main folder again, the third folder is Visualization Aids. And there you can find 7 images If you open the first one, you can see a I seem to have a really old computer, it takes its time. Okay, so there you can see Guru Rinpoche's image with a rainbow light body. If you open the second one, you can find a different type of rainbow body presentation. It's Buddha Amitabha's rainbow body. So the reason why these visualization aids are there is because we use this, actually visualize image our physical body and our aura filled with rainbows and rainbow lights. So that's why these aids are there, and you can use them as an aid when learning these visualizations. Okay, so like I said, save that Dropbox link. So the whole practice you can learn from those recordings. It might look like a lot of material to go through, but take the videos one by one. Make the learning enjoyable to yourself. And then maybe something about our Sangha and Facebook before going to the empowerment itself. So we have two different Facebook groups. One is the public pemakobuddhism.com. That is, it's open for everybody. Everybody can join that and follow it. And then there is Pemako Buddhist Sangha. Sangha means community. So at the moment we have a Sangha of about 75 people worldwide who, being a Sangha member means that you have found your home in Pemako Buddhist teachings. So it's a community of people, men and women of different ages, of different backgrounds, who do the same practice, who follow the same method as their spiritual dharmic path. So if after 1 month of practice, meaning that if in the end of April you feel like you have clicked, you feel good about rainbow body yoga practice and Pemako teachings in general, then you can ask to be added into that secret Sangha group. So the Sangha group is only for those who follow this method as their path. And it is, so after 1 month it can be joined. And if at some point you feel like you somehow don't click with the practice anymore, you are perfectly free to leave also. So it doesn't bind you into anything. Okay. Is there something else? It feels like a marathon of talking. I had a very busy day today. I had my kids over and I've been cleaning the whole house, spring cleaning, so I had just a short moment before starting this session to kind of orientate my mind for this. But I think I will get through it. I think we have covered pretty much. Just something that I need to say before the empowerment, and that concerns mudras. So we have actually three different types of mudras in Rainbow Body Yoga. And as I was speaking about those 2 syllables, vam, we have a physical gesture for those 2 syllables that connects the body-mind to those same 12 deities. And this mudra is done like this. So you put the tips of middle finger, index and thumb on top of each other. And these 2 fingers, ring and little finger, they can be completely relaxed. So the main Tantric Mudra for Avam is like this. So the tips of the fingers are not next to each other like this, they are on top of each other like this. And then you can, at the beginning of the practice, what you do with these mudras is that you put the fingers like this in the described manner. Then you can put your hands over your knees, palms up or palms down, or you can put your hands on your lap and just relax the hands, but leave the fingers as if sealed into this posture. So this, after the empowerment, it establishes those 12 deities in your body-mind just by doing this. That's the gift of Tantric Mudra. And then another mudra for the Atyog, for the non-meditation part, is this classic one. So you have your right hand, and then you put left palm on it, both palms up, and then tips of thumbs gently touching. And below in front of your belly. So this is Atyog Mudra. Left on top, right below. So as you go through the sequence of different techniques, you're first holding your fingers like this in the Tantric Mudra, and then when you switch to Atyoga part at the end of the practice, you switch to this mudra. So those two we have. And the third one is for Tantric Guru Yoga. When you practice, when you meditate with Guru Rinpoche or Yeshe Chogyal or both, then you have this simple one. So you join the tips of index finger and thumb. These three fingers can be relaxed. So with both hands you join the tips of these fingers, and after this empowerment the same happens, that simply when you do this, sitting in the bus, when taking a break at work, when sitting on your meditation cushion or chair at home, Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Chogyal come to you. Just by doing this. Just by sealing hands like this. Mudra means seal. Oh, okay. Let's continue with the empowerment. So what happens now is that we will first align our bodies and relax for a couple of minutes, and then I will ask blessings for this empowerment from our gurus, and then I will do some chanting and transmit the empowerment to you. You can just enjoy the ride. So you can align your body, weight of the torso resting on the sitting bones, spine naturally upright, and you can just let waves of relaxation sweep through your whole body. Waves of relaxation. So you are becoming aware of the body, the whole body at once, or different parts, one after the other, and just relaxing deeply, letting go of subconscious tensions, while being perfectly and effortlessly aware that this relaxation happens. Waves of relaxation sweeping through your body. If you feel like taking a few deep breaths, you can do that. You can let it happen. Even if you relax, you're not falling asleep and not going to sleep. That sometimes happens when people start relaxing, they start falling asleep. But here the important point is that our cognizant awareness, our knowing awareness, our ability to register and be aware, that stays. It doesn't fall asleep. So we are perfectly aware, and that relaxation happens in the body, that deepening relaxation happens in the body in different parts, and simply, intimately aware of it. Aware that that happens. You can feel into the inside of the body and let those waves of relaxation kind of massage your body open. Deep tensions are released as the waves keep massaging the body. Letting tensions release in limbs, all four limbs at the same time or one by one. Letting tensions release from the torso, letting tensions release from the neck, throat, shoulder area, letting tensions release from the face, the jaws, mouth, forehead, temples, sides of the head, ears, back of the head, top of the head, and inside the head. What happens when we relax like this, a few moments, few minutes, is that we start feeling more space inside in our mind. If we are occupied by thinking or emotions, this instead of us being identified with those thought patterns, emotions, we start to notice the space, that there is this space in the mind where there is no thought. And that this space knows itself. It is not blank, it is not dead, and it is not unconscious. It is conscious. This space knows itself. This space knows itself without any effort, without any doing. And this simple knowing, spacious knowing, is our true being, is Buddha nature. When we have awakening experiences and glimpses, shorter glimpses, we come to understand better what this Buddha nature or wakeful nature, true being, what it really is. Like I said, in some point of my introduction, all beings have Buddha nature, including you and me. There is this pure being, fresh being, being of goodness inside of every one of us. Inside every one of us. And this we are learning to know. This true being in us we are learning to know through our Dharma practice. All right, I would like to continue, and with love, sincerely from my heart, I would like to ask blessings of Guru Rinpoche, Guru Padmasambhava, and Yeshe Tsogyal for every one of us. We are asking for these blessings so that each one of us may attain Buddhahood, full knowledge about ourselves, for the sake of all sentient beings who suffer of this confusion. Dear Masters, shower us with your blessings, ultimately for the sake of all beings. Feel the blessings. Feels this warm, very pleasant, very fresh, has a sobering effect, calming effect and grounding effect. Anybody at any time can turn to the Gurus, Guru Rinpoche, Yeshe Tsogyal, and ask for blessings, ask for felt support, and it always comes. Then it only needs to be received and felt in the body-mind. Receiving and feeling is the heart and soul of Tantric method. Not only doing practices, doing, performing, but feeling and receiving, becoming receptive, taking in the blessings and charges, energetic charges. And as you can feel, blessings and presence of Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Ma feels wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And safe also. Very safe. Feeling the blessings on the skin, in the muscles, in the bones, in bone marrow, in short, in one's whole being. Really absorbing it like a sponge. Taking the blessing into the body, into the heart, into the head. Namo Guru Rinpoche. Namo Yeshe Tsogyalye. Shower us with your blessings. And also give your blessing for this empowerment. Ultimately for the sake of all sentient beings. So I will first chant to you the simple Guru mantras of Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal that we very often used in Pemako practice and can be used at any time or any place, perhaps just for a few repetitions, aloud or mentally, or one can do a longer sitting meditation sessions with these mantras. So just listen. Namo Guru Rinpoche, Namo Yeshe Tsogyalye, 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 Namo Guru Rinpoche, Namo Yeshe Tsogyalye. Feel and receive like a sponge. Like enjoying the light and warmth of the sun in the summer, same thing here. The blessings come to us. We don't have to go get them. It comes. And we simply feel and receive it. Okay, and then I will continue chanting the empowerment mantras. Simply listen. Avam. 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 Feel the energy of that. Energy of the 12 deities. A dozen peaceful and wrathful expressions of the enlightened mind. As you keep feeling it, I will simply name the deities in this empowerment. Kunzanggyalpo, Kunzanggyalpo, Dechengyalmo, Dechengyalmo, Vajradhara, Vajradhara, Saraswati, Saraswati, Vajrasattva, Vajrasattva, Prajnaparamita, Prajnaparamita, Avalokiteshvara, Avalokiteshvara, Sitatara, Sitatara, Dorje Dralo, Dorje Dralo, Vajrayogini, Vajrayogini, Dorje Gotrab, Dorje Gotrab, Dorje Pagmo, Dorje Pagmo. As you keep feeling the charge, you can try putting your fingers into that Tantric Mudra, thumb, index finger and middle finger, the tips joined, the tips on top of each other. And then just put your hands on your lap or on the knees. And let the hand relax as much as possible. then let's switch to that Atyog meditation mudra. So on top of, put the right hand below, left hand above, both palms up, and join the tips of thumbs together. Hold your hands in this posture for a while still feeling the charge, feeling the blessings, feeling the energy. And then let's do the third one, third mudra. So join the tips of index finger and thumb, putting thumb and index finger in a circular shape and relaxing the rest 3 fingers. Doing this with both hands and then putting hands down. So this is the Guru Yoga Mudra for Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal. Okay, I think that is enough for the empowerment. My gratitude to Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal. And may all beings benefit of this empowerment. Let's do the Bodhisattva vows and basic prayers. If you haven't yet learned them by heart, I think it's better that you just listen. So first, Bodhisattva vows. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. Feel the inner meaning of Bodhisattva vows. Feel the energy. So we always feel Tantric practice is about energy work, and energy needs to be recognized through feeling of it, seeing of it, tasting of it. So we always take a moment to feel whatever we practice. Let's continue with relative refuge, which goes, I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Let's chant together. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. And again, feel the refuge. Feel the energy of the refuge. The blessing of the refuge. Here we are taking refuge as practitioners, as seekers to Guru Rinpoche, to his pure land, which is Pemako, also known as Sangdok Palri. We take refuge in the Buddha, in Buddha nature of ours. We take refuge in the Dharma, which is the teaching of reality. And we take refuge in the Sangha, in the community of practitioners, community of awakened and enlightened practitioners. And then let's continue with absolute refuge, where the perspective is shifted. I am the Guru, I'm in the Pure Land, I am the Buddha, I am the Dharma, I am the Sangha. Let's chant together. I am the Guru, I'm in the Pure Land, I am the Buddha, I am the Dharma, I am the Sangha, I am the Guru, I'm in the Pure Land, I am the Buddha, I am the Dharma, I am the Sangha, I am the Guru, I'm in the Pure Land, I am the Buddha, I am the Dharma, I am the Sangha. Absolute refuge. The meaning is, in short, that we have it all in us already. We have the Guru in us. We can see our surroundings as a pure land. We have Buddha nature in us. We have the teaching of reality in us. And we have the community in us. And then let's continue with relative bodhicitta, chanting 3 times, may all beings be free, wishing it out, wishing liberation, wishing freedom to all beings. May all beings be free, may all beings be free, May all beings be free. And then we again change perspective. Absolute bodhicitta. 3 times. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings are free. And then finally, a dedication of merit, which means that we wish that all sentient beings get the benefit of our practice and hope that it helps them to come in contact with the Dharma and come in contact with the reality of themselves, of their own Buddha nature. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. And then you can join hands, join palms together, and as a sign of sincerity and honesty and our pure intentions, pure motivations, make a bow. And there. All right. How do you feel? Feel okay? All right, so there you have the recorded materials that you can start going through right away if you wish. I hope you pleasant learning of Rainbow Body Yoga. Let's see if there's something else I should mention. I think I covered quite a bit when we started. Thank you for your donations. Thank you very much. And does anybody have any questions or comments at this point? If you want to say something, feel free. Perfect. Nothing. All right. So we covered everything, and I don't really have anything else to add to this. So thank you for joining this empowerment, and I wish you enjoyable learning with Rainbow Body Yoga, and very much benefits from the practice of it, and all the best in your practice. Thanks for joining, and have a nice evening or have a nice day.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
My pleasure.
Bye,
My pleasure.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Kim. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.